So, this subject is one that's really near and dear to my heart, and I use frequently when I'm coaching in the workplace. It's you're always being watched and evaluated. You don't have to like it, you don't have to agree with me, but it's a truth. You are always being watched and evaluated. What does that mean? Well, first of all, you're typically in the workspace, you're in public, right? So you're around people. In public, meaning there's people above you, people below you, people near you. People have a tendency to talk, probably a shock, but they have a tendency to talk. They also have an opinion, and they have no problem sharing it. So, what are you to expect? People are going to talk about you, they have an opinion about you, and they want to spread and share that as much as possible because they're people. Question is, what are people going to say? Again, you're always being watched and evaluated. Put out what you want to get back. What does evaluated mean? Well, previous post I was talking about an administrative position, but this really applies to any position. When you are an employee, you're being employed to do work that is going to contribute to a larger picture. So you're never in a silo, never. So no matter what you put out as a output of your work or whatever you deliver as your deliverables or whatever you're tasked to do, somebody's evaluating it. And they're evaluating not only whether or not your work was complete and compliant and excellent, but how did you deliver it? What was your tone when you were asking questions? Did you even ask any clarifying questions? What was your relationship to others as you were trying to develop that deliverable? Did you collaborate with others? Were you just a loner? How did people feel about you when they're finished? For example, if you had to collaborate on a task and you went and worked with Susie and Joe, and Susie and Joe had a horrible experience with you because either you were mad that day or you don't like Susie and Joe, or you don't like Susie but you like Joe, and you ended up delivering your task back to the person you support with, it was great. It worked. But they run into Susie in the lunchroom. And Susie's like, girl, I can't believe that I have to work. You work with that person. They did such and such and such and such. And, I just don't know if I need to ever deal with them again. Whether they come back to you and tell you or not, guess what? You've been evaluated. And that evaluation is sitting in the back of their head, even if they never tell you. Number one, they may be a fan. So their response may have been, oh, they were just having a bad day. But if this happens 2 or 3 times, that fan who's an employer who has to evaluate based on environment, based on contribution to the team, is now thinking, is there a trend? Do I have an issue? Should I address it? No matter whether you're still performing exceptionally, you're still putting out great work, but they are now starting to evaluate you based on another factor which you hadn't considered if you don't take into account that you're always being watched and evaluated. So what am I saying to you? You have to change? No, but you should be aware. So if you find yourself in a situation where you know that some of the processes required to deliver your task cause some negativity around you, whether it was you had a problem with Susie and Joe or whether you just delivered it with some sort of attitude because you were feeling some kind of way that day. We're all human. We have moments. But just be aware that you have the ability to get back what you put out. So here's an example. In my current position, I knew I was the new person on the block, wasn't experienced in contracting, had it's a very incestuous and small world that I work in, and so I knew I was going to make mistakes. So how could I compensate for the mistakes and still build a positive brand in this space? Well, my first investment of time was in relationships. I needed to let people see that I'm genuine, I'm authentic, I'm passionate about what I do. I am passionate about people. I want to do the right thing. Don't know everything. There's a learning curve. There's going to be some things I don't understand. But I'll never work from a malice of heart. I'll never work from a bad place. I'm never intending to hurt anyone. I'm never going to try to make rush judgments without at least considering the negative impact that could occur, especially in a position of authority. So I've spent a lot of time building faith in people or letting them see how I operate. And part of that was by being genuinely interested in what do they do. So in the first couple of weeks, I spent a lot of time. How are you? What do you do? How did you get here? I know I'm going to have to work with you over the period of time that I'm here, and I'm just curious about what makes you tick. What do you like about your job? What's great about what you do? And guess what? I learned a lot. I did ultimately make some significant mistakes because, we're human. But I was confident that I had invested enough time in building social capital, which is the investment of time and relationships and energy, so that when I made a withdrawal by making a mistake, that social capital could bear the weight of that withdrawal, right? So I made a mistake in judgment and was accused of being a bully in the workplace. But here's the reason. I actually am more focused on work sometimes than I am on people. So my approach came across as, I just need you to get it done. I don't need you to have a feeling about this. I just need you to understand what I'm saying. I didn't give it too much context. Just took the authority of my position and said, I need you to get this done. But that didn't come across well to the receiver. It may have worked for some people, but for this particular one, it didn't work. So as that process kind of unfolded, it became apparent that while this person was concerned and they didn't give me a chance to kind of respond by neutralizing some of their concerns, they did actually stir up a lot of concern about whether or not I was, mean. Guess what, though? Overwhelmingly, the fact that there were more people that had dealt with me in my best self, who had, understood that there was a drive to get things done, but also a very strong compassion for the team, realized that this person actually misunderstood me and were able to help diffuse that situation. So I was able to maintain a positive brand in the workplace. Well, those things happen a million times a day. By taking on the philosophy of I know that I'm always being watched and evaluated. When I am aware of what's brought to my attention that there's been a negative or a confusing perception, I try my best to circle back, neutralize that some kind of way, or sit still and let it play itself out with the understanding that I made a significant upfront investment in the opposite of that. So whatever, if it's confusion, I've already built up a brand of being stable and steady, so why would somebody be confused about something that I said? Again, whatever you want to hear back about yourself, put those words and energy out. If you want people to believe that you are a positive person, then be positive. If you want people to believe that you have a strong work ethic, then have a strong work ethic. Then encourage others to have a strong work ethic. Commend those who have a strong work ethic. If you want to be known as someone who's patient, then be patient. Be that person that you want people to talk about in that way. I guess I hope I'm being clear, but the reputation that you want people to have about you, you have to be that. You can't just expect people to assume that. Be that. And so just an understanding that you're always being watched and evaluated, being mindful of that will help you to be sensitive to things that come up and realize that you do have some control over how people perceive you and how you can weather a storm by trusting the brand that you spend a lot of time investing in building. So I encourage you to connect the dots between who you are and who people perceive you to be in a way that they're knitted so strongly together that should some confusion or a situation come up, you can trust what you put out to come back to you in the best way possible. Till next time, connect the dots.